All right, let's talk about leeks. So first off, I have this massive, gigantic leek, and then they only had this other one, so I like them better when they're the same size, so they cook at the same time. I might end up cutting that one in half. But so I have 2 leeks here, and you might have used leeks in recipes and soups and stuff. You cut them up, right? But you can actually eat them whole, even braised. And I always have cut it right here, right? So I cut it right here, and the rest of this, you can use that in a soup or a stock, you know, to kind of flavor it, but you don't eat that like it by itself. But the other day I was watching Worst Cooks in America, and they totally kept a lot more of the green stuff. And I'm like, can you really do that? And it was the chef, not the Worst Cooks. So I'm gonna play with this a little bit and see if there's a way to eat more of this than I actually originally thought. So in my research, one thing I saw is people who only cut off like that much, right? So I would cut it here normally. So I'm going to take that off of there and see what I'm dealing with here. So this part here looks delicious. Look at that. That looks really good. Yeah. Now this part here is still very leafy. So now a lot of people say don't pull it off this way because it gets too hard to do, but I don't see it as a problem. So this outer leaf, I don't want that. Also, there's always going to be lots of dirt in there. Take a look at that. That's like filthy. So you're going to want to get that sand out. Now, it doesn't usually get below where I cut it. So when I cut it here, I don't have that cleaning problem. But if I'm going to try to use more of the green part, yeah, I'm going to have to deal with the cleaning a little bit more. Boy, I just smelled this. And these leaves out here have such a beautiful scalliony, almost garlicky, but scalliony smell to them. This one, not quite as much. But it all smells really good. All right, so I want to cut this as close to the root as I can, but not too close, because I want this to stay together since I'm going to be using them whole instead of cutting them up. So that's what that looks like. Boy, I just don't know. All right, I think I'm going to cut it. I'm going to cut off some of these outer leaves here. Maybe I'm just going to pull these off. I don't want to lose this bottom part. All right, I'm cutting off this outer leaf, but that's it. I'm going to keep that green part near the bottom. All right, guys, experiment time. You're in the ride with me now. Still got to clean that more. Okay, well, this is way more leek than I usually keep, right? So this is really interesting to me. The problem is there's no way I can saute this, and I'm worried that, let's say I cut it in half, like right here at this beautiful divide, these won't hold together because they don't have this root holding them together. But I think that's where I'm at. I'm going to go ahead and cut it maybe here. And yeah, I think that's going to hold. All right, look at that. That's twice as much leek as I usually use. I'm learning. Now for the big daddy honker. See what happens with this thing as I break it down. All right, well, I'll start by just taking off a bit like I did with that first one. And again, you can save this for a stock. And in fact, I have an idea for that. So I'm going to put this in a little bowl. I'll need to rinse that out really good, but I have an idea for that. Okay. Wow, yeah, these leaves are a lot bigger, lots of cleaning to be done there. Okay, well, let's just start taking off the first 2. No, I don't want to lose. Yeah, that one's bad. Okay, this is good, but it needs some serious cleaning. Look at the size of these leek leaves. I mean, if I made a stock out of that, it wouldn't even fit in the pot. But like I said, I'm going to try something with that, so we'll save it for now. All right, so now, again, this, I don't think that's going to be good to eat. It's too tough. Again, great for a stock. So I'm going to try to take off some of this green, but save the goodness inside. So I'm just cutting the leaf off. You see that? And same with this one. So I'm just looking for the ones that look too tough near the top there. And I just go around with the knife like that, and I pull that piece off. And then I see how it's starting to get good there. So I'm going to go a little higher. Again, I'm not saying this is the right way to do something here. I'm totally in experimental mode. You're doing it with me. All right, well, I got it down to this. You can see in the bowl in the background there with all of my pieces. Okay, so again, I'm going to cut off the root, but not too close. Perfect. And look at that. Okay, and then this guy's a little bit too big, so again, I'm going to cut him in half. There, and we have this interesting one. So you can see these pieces are just soft enough, I think, that they'll braise and they won't be too tough. But there we go. We got ourselves 4 gorgeous leeks ready for braising. I'd like to use my stainless steel skillet for this, but I need that for the lobster since I'm also going to be cooking that. But let's get some butter in here. And as soon as that gets hot, we'll throw in the leeks. And what we're going to do first is we're going to sear the leeks on the outsides. They're a nice, strong vegetable when they're all tough like this. So I'm actually going to put it in there and get a nice sear on them as soon as that oil gets hot enough for that butter. All right, and go my leeks. Okay, and we'll get some nice browning on all 4 sides of this, and then we're going to add in some wine. I'm going to add a little bit of stock as well, so a little wine, a little stock, and then I'm going to cover it and then just let it braise for about 12 minutes. All right, there's some nice browning on there. Next, we're going to deglaze it. I'm going to put a couple of frozen chicken cubes in here. 4 of these make a quarter cup. So I'm going to throw in a quarter cup of chicken stock there. That's my homemade stock. I just put it into a little ice cube tray that I found that's a quarter tablespoon perfectly. So I'll get that started. And then once that melts, I'm going to add a little bit of wine in there as well. All right, that stock's all melted. I'm going to add a little wine. That's a lot of wine, but I'm actually braising this up. I'm going to throw in a little more butter and salt and pepper. And we are good to cover this up. 12 minutes from now, allegedly, these will be perfect. I've never actually cooked them whole before. I've definitely had leeks before, but I usually steam them just in a double boiler. So this is the first time I've done them where I sear them first and then steam them. So I'm going to turn this heat down now. And I'll cover that up, but I'll leave it open a little bit. I don't want this completely covered because I do want that liquid to evaporate so that they glaze. Oh, and I almost forgot. I do want to throw in a little bit of garlic. So I just took some cloves and smashed them. And there we go. Wine, stock, a little bit of garlic, and we'll just let that braise. My leeks have been braising 12 minutes, so now it's time to see if they're actually done. And the way to tell, a knife should slide into them like nothing. So that part's a little tough still, but up here, totally. Yeah, they're very close, but a little bit longer. I'm gonna get them go another like 4 minutes, 3 minutes, and then they are done. And they like resting, so we're gonna need to rest them. I'll put 3 minutes on the clock, pull them out. I'm now pulling the leeks out of their braising liquid. And I'm gonna let these rest. They're gonna be delicious. Okay, so there are 2 of my 4 leeks. The other 2 will be for my use up. And I'm just gonna put some of this beautiful garlic-y, buttery, chicken stocky sauce over that. Okay. And some lobster. Okay, so here goes nothing. First, let's try the leek. I'm going to try the one that is normalier. So, cut that up. And let's see what we got here. I've never done it this way. Wow, it's really nice. It's very delicate on the inside. The sauce on here is bright. The leek itself is kind of buttery, and it tastes vaguely celery-esque, but vaguely scallion-esque. And this is the part I would never have normally kept, except for I saw that video. Put a little rice on there. Oh, it's even better than this. Wow. Huh. I'm so excited. This is the part I would normally have tossed, and I'm telling you, it's somehow even brighter than the normal part that I usually eat. So, wow.